Hey guys, welcome to an all-new Collection Expansion Extravaganza right here on ToyWorldOrder.com, starring me, Duvall, and my wife, Carrie Duvall, the wonderful fiery redhead that I call my better half, who makes all the rules and decisions.
Your only good half.
That's true, I don't have another good half. It's, the rest of me is kind of blasé. Gang, we're back with an all-new look at some of the stuff that we found, and as always, let's start off with some of the cute stuff Carrie's got to her left over here. We got over here.
My favorite man.
A very cool Dakin Goofy. These were released in the late 60s through the 70s. Dakin released a lot of these posable plastic figures, and we found quite a few of them. And actually, our buddy Brent Scarano had sent us a Goofy, but he was missing an arm. And we stumbled upon this Goofy at a yard sale. Or either yard or garage, I don't remember where we were at. We were somewhere, and we stumbled across him for like $3 and picked him up because you don't rarely see the Goofies in that good a condition. Usually, like the one Brent sent us, the arm's gone or the ears are gone because the ears can move. The ears are posable, so they just kind of pivot there. But he's got articulation at the legs, at the shoulders, and then his head can swivel. So he's got a little bit of posability, and they're very, very neat. Old school kind of collectibles because they did Looney Tunes, they did some Hanna-Barbera stuff, they did a lot of Disney. So we've got a Bugs Bunny, we've got a Porky Pig, we've got a Mickey and a Minnie from Dakin. I think we've got a Donald from Dakin, Goofy. So they made a wide range of the different types of licensed characters, and they're relatively they're harder and harder now to find out in the wild. You see them a lot in antique stores. Or at toy shows. People have them at toy shows and they're asking quite a bit of money for them. But it's very rare that you stumble across them in a yard sale these days. So Goofy's pretty cool, though. And of course, Carrie's favorite.
Whichever man.
Favorite is literally. I take third place.
Yep.
So next up is I think it's another Dakin item, I believe. Oh no, just a Disney item, but. This was one of the collectibles you could buy in the parks, I believe, in the late 50s, early 60s, and it's I believe he's filled. Is he crushed?
Crushed nuts.
Ground nuts. It's a ground nut filled plush.
We have another. We have something else like this.
We have.
It's got nuts.
A Donald like that.
Yes.
That has crushed nuts.
Yeah.
That is from the same type of thing, but Pluto with he's got a very soft rubber face.
I just love his little bib.
He's got a little bib that's got his name on it. That's pretty cute, and it's really well done. They're really they're really nice, and it's you find stuff and you're like ground nuts. Well, that's what they used to fill stuffed animals were ground nuts because it was cheaper than animals. It was cheaper than stuffing.
Contents: shredded clippings, ground nut shells.
So and it does make it. I mean, it's very. You can tell when you squeeze it.
Yeah,
that
you can hear it.
Yeah, there's some nuts. Yeah. Pluto's nuts.
Yeah.
But very, very cute, though. I mean, again, it's something we found. We were on the Spoon River Drive this this previous October in 2014, and we stumbled across this little barn that really didn't have anything. A lot of racing car stuff, but it just in one corner
shelf
was this Pluto for like $3, and we bought him because why not?
Super cute.
Yeah, very cute. And then we found a whole bunch of the McDonald's did during the 100-year celebration of Walter Elias Disney's birthday. They did 100 years of Disney. It was like it was all labeled Walt Disney World, but it was 100 years of magic, and they did 100 different characters in McDonald's Happy Meals for the course of like 8 weeks or something like that. And we slowly but surely, according, if you've watched this show in Flea Market Finds, you know that we've slowly but surely been cleaning them all off. And now we've talked about it before. We could probably go on eBay and just buy the whole lot for $200, but it would not be as fun as wandering into some odd store or antique store and digging through.
We'll pay 50 cents
to $1
to $1 a piece, maybe $2 if it's one we haven't ever seen. So we picked up a bunch.
We did. We got Hercules, the Zero to Hero, Brer Fox. There, yeah. We got, oh God, what is his name?
Turk
from Tarzan. Miko,
Miko,
the raccoon from Pocahontas.
Quasimodo.
Hunchback. Yep. Quasimodo. The Beast. We've got Brer Bear. And we've got Bianca.
Yeah.
From Rescuers Down Under. And what's weird about all this, and Carrie and I, you'll see some more in an upcoming episode that we found, but Carrie and I keep stumbling across these. I still haven't found an Ariel. You would think that'd be the one that we would come across. No Ariel.
No.
So no luck for me.
That might be one we'll have to eventually buy.
Probably, because we never ever see her ever.
Then we just have this little tiny.
Yep, we got this little tiny ceramic Goofy. It's a Schmid. I believe that's how you say Schmid. That's the character off New Girl.
He's got a little hook on his head.
Yeah,
like maybe he's supposed to be a Christmas ornament.
Looks like he was supposed to be an ornament, or he was a decoration
tiny.
and stuff. But he's ceramic. He's very fragile.
Yeah.
I remember we bought him and then wrapped him in something else. We were like, But he's super cute though. Just a nice little Goofy to put in the display case with all of our stuff. But we've got some stuff over here, some books and magazines and stuff. I'll get to this stuff in a minute. But one of the things we found in an antique store. Anyone who remembers movies in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, usually Topps or another company would make these souvenir magazines, and they don't do it nearly as much these days as they used to, but I found the Topps souvenir magazine to the Batman film of '89 with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, which is still one of the best Batman movies ever made. But it's great. Of course, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes information and artwork and the story of the film and some special effects secrets, and there was a pin-up, and the back it shows like a bunch of Batman collectible stuff. So, you got to think this was printed in '89. So I remember having one of these when it came out, and it got lost over the years and got ruined. So, but to find that in an antique store for like $4 was an awesome little deal. I grabbed it. Carrie's like, "You're not going to buy that, are you?" I'm like, "I am going to buy that." These are cool. These are actually still sealed, still on their little plastic tree. These are cake toppers from Wilton from, I believe, the 70s. Yep, 1978. 1978, 79 is when these would have come out. But these are Wilton cake toppers for Sesame Street, and it has Big Bird, Ernie, Oscar, Bert, Cookie Monster, and the Count all on there. So, and they're all still attached to their plastic tree, and you can see between Bert and Oscar there was a piece that connected them together that is long gone. Right. Yep. But we picked that up at an auction. It was in a lot of stuff, and that was the only reason we bought the auction, because of that. Because we were like, And then there was some other cool stuff in there too, but that was the neatest thing we saw, because you don't see...
I've never seen anything like that before.
Not like that, no.
Got some books here.
Yeah, it's got some cute little books.
Yeah, some Muppets.
Some Muppets. Now this Muppet Babies book is actually one of the McDonald's giveaways they get. It's in a little rough condition, but it's Baby Piggy the Living Doll, and of course there's some cute stuff. She's captured by a large baby animal, which is Carrie's favorite of all time. She loves little baby animal. But just a little storybook that you could get at McDonald's restaurants.
Yeah, I think there were three or four of them, and this was the one we were missing, because there's one with Kermit. There's
one with Kermit, there's one with Fozzie, and I think there's one with Gonzo. But yeah, this is the one we were missing, and we found this on the Spoon River Drive. And like I said, it's got a little, looks like it had a little water damage done to it at one time. It does look like it had a little bit of some weird molding going on in the front, but it's not going to kill us, I don't think, unless you lick it. But yeah, the only one we were missing of that. That's pretty cute. And then we found a whole bunch of these hardbacks, and these were from Growler, and we've got a number of them, but these were Jim Henson's Muppets Values to Grow On. And these weren't Muppet Babies, and they weren't the adult Muppets. These were like the tween Muppets, which was the reason we bought this, because they're probably 8 to 10.
He's like dressed up in like a baseball cap backwards.
He's got a baseball cap backwards.
Styling on his new bike.
And Kermit there's Fozzie's teaching Kermit how to ride a bike, and it's pretty cute. They're really, really cute little stories.
Yeah, here's a little picture of them in the back.
Yeah, so you can tell they're kind of at that age, right before teenage, and but yeah, that was really the reason we bought it, because they were older. They weren't, and of course on the back they show a little baby piggy, and she's got little pigtails, a little kid piggy. I think we've got one other one of these, and I'd like to find some more of those, because they're really neat. Those are pretty cool. And then we found some. And then we got another book here, the Jetsons: The Great Pizza Hunt, And
well,
this
I'm almost afraid to open this one because it's very...
It's pretty... It's from Wonder Books, and it was a deluxe Wonder Books, and it is...
I'm going to let you open it. Cause...
It is very fragile. It's it was 59 cents when it came out, and I want to say this was printed in, 76, 1 year before I was born, but you can kind of see some of the great artwork in there. The old Hanna-Barbera Jetsons. It's pretty neat. It is a division. Wonder Books actually did eventually become Golden Books, so it is kind of along that same line. But you see, there's been some tears, and you can see the stitching starting to come loose on the binding. So,
we'll
very fragile book. But usually when we find older licensed like cartoon books like that, we grab them because you don't see them very often. Something we don't find every day that we found a whole bunch of and we grabbed. We've got a whole bunch of McDonald's unused Happy Meal boxes. One for Aladdin, the King of the Thieves, and now you can see the difference between, like for instance, the Flintstone Kids and the Aladdin. Flintstone Kids was done in, I want to say this was 80. This was probably 86, 87, 88, and then Aladdin, King of Thieves was done in 96? Yeah, 96. But you can tell just over the years how big the Happy Meal boxes used to be and how far they've shrunk. And they're this size now. They used to be this size. So, but we found Aladdin, King of the Thieves, and we found the Flintstone Kids unused. Still haven't found any of the actual Flintstone Kids Happy Meal toys, but we did find the box, so that's a plus. The Mix 'em Up Monsters, which people are always finding these and putting them on the action figure identification groups. We're like, what are these? And they're Mix 'em Up Monsters from McDonald's. There were 4 of them.
I think we have
them all. There was Blibble, there was Grapple, there was Corkle, and there was Thugger. And we have all 4 of them. Even Carrie, when we first got them, she's like, what are these? What are these?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure these are McDonald's toys.
Yeah, I didn't know.
What else you got there? Oh,
the Changeables.
The Changeables. And this would have been, I don't know if this was the first Changeables or the second or third. It might have been the second because it's got the shake and the chicken nuggets and stuff. But the Changeables box, which the only thing that has anything to do with the Changeables is they're up here and they're in the little corners, and the rest of it's all Ronald McDonald and Friends. So they didn't have a whole lot to go with for the Changeables, but an unused Changeable box is kind of neat. You don't see those every day.
And 2 Oliver and Companies.
And then 2 Oliver and Companies for the Oliver and Company toys, and these were, I want to say these came out when the movie came out. These would have been
1988.
Yeah, I'll say just around when the movie came out. But you actually can. They have on the bottom here. They show you that you can actually separate this, and you can connect all the boxes together to kind of form a city.
Oh, neat! I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but they don't really. You just kind of set them side by side. You can tape them together in the back, and you can make it like a little city backdrop. So pretty cool though. It's not very often we find unused Happy Meal boxes. I'm not even sure where we found these. It's been a long time, but there were a lot more of these, and these were the ones that we grabbed. And I think they were like $1 or $2 a piece.
Yeah, I was like, we can't have them all.
Yeah, we cannot.
Ooh, this is neat.
Anyone that grew up in the 80s and 90s, and even still today they kind of do it, but Panini's big, but there also used to be, I believe, I don't think this is Panini, I think this is, it's Diamond Publishing did these, and Diamond Publishing did the Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters sticker book, and this is all in 3D, so oops, there go the glasses.
Oh no!
I got them. So it came with this, came with a couple pairs of 3 glasses and slides, so you kind of slide them back and forth to see, but you see there, it's the very classic 3D. It's the red and blue, and the images are separated a little bit. So it doesn't work that well, but it's kind of cool. I'd love to find the stickers for these books. We've got a lot of these sticker books, but the stickers are...
Well, mail your list and your payment to this address, and we'll see what happens.
They used to be, believe it or not, you could actually put on a piece of paper, you could put your name, age, address, zip code, and the name of the album. List the number of stickers, list the number of each sticker you wish to receive.
Yeah, because inside they're numbered.
They are numbered. 10 stickers would run you $1, and 20 stickers would run you $2. So you could only order up to 20 stickers at a time, and you weren't able to send any coins.
How many? Yeah, that's fun.
Altogether, there were 180. So, and I believe the packs were like 75 cents a pack, and there were like 8 or 10 stickers in a pack. So it was kind of difficult to complete one of these albums. But we found a lot. Like we have a She-Ra one, and we have this.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then, of course, Brent Scarano a long time ago sent me a whole stack of Toxic Crusader stickers And to this day, I still have not been able to find the sticker book for the stickers, because if I do, I've got every sticker for those books. So this is kind of neat. Fisher-Price, and we're not big Fisher-Price collectors, but we did buy recently a Fisher-Price guide, like a collector's guide that was printed in like 89, 90. And looking through there, we discovered they made a whole bunch of these, but Fisher-Price did a whole bunch of these plastic-based Muppet puzzles based on the Great Muppet Caper. And of course the pieces here, and you can see that the artwork's really kind of funky because it almost doesn't look like any of it matches.
No, well, it had came apart at one time, and when I you'd think there's only 5 pieces to this, you'd put it together. I could not figure out where anything went.
No, Carrie was having a heck of a difficult time.
Because it doesn't flow very good.
But you can see that the pieces are they're wood pieces, and they just sit in the frame like so. And they made a whole bunch of these. This was the balloon ride one, but they made a whole bunch of these puzzles like this, and they all look like this. Nothing on here matches. So it's kind of kooky to get this.
It's like his head just kind of cuts off, and there's, I don't know, it's weird, but yeah.
It's kind of kooky, but this was kind of cool. We found this at the Spoon River this last year, and we picked it up. It was one of the first things we bought. So, and then last but not least with the cute stuff here.
Oh
no. We've talked about it before, and Carrie shakes her head every time I buy one. I love old licensed puzzles. I love them to death. I think the artwork on them is amazing.
One turned into 2, and turned into
40. Probably at least 40. Cause
now, I'll give you this.
There's a couple more over here off the side, too.
The box art's really
The box art's beautiful.
And the
puzzle looks just like that when it's put together.
Right, and as long as we just keep it in the box, it's fine. It's the ones you want to put together
and put in frames.
It's like there's no
room.
Have nowhere to do that at. But yeah, I mean,
beautiful puzzles though. I love them. They're gorgeous. They are really cool. Save these. I'm going to save 2 of these items for last, but look at some of the action figure stuff. If you listen to Dave and the Balls Toys and Collectibles at all, right before Christmas of 2014, Dave and I went to an auction in Clinton, Illinois, which we dubbed the worst auction we'd ever been to in our lives. It was a seized property auction, and it was nothing but toys. And people in Clinton, Illinois had more money than they had sense because they were paying ridiculous amounts of money for toys. Dave got a couple of Lego sets for a decent price, and the only thing I walked away with was something I was like, I'll go $20 on it, and if it goes higher than that, then someone's more than welcome to it, because to me it's not worth it. But I got the Kenner Terminator 2 Ultimate Terminator that talks, light up eyes. He comes with removable glasses. He's got a big old hand blaster gun. And it literally, the guy started at 20, wouldn't go down any farther. I was like, all right, I bid 20, and then I won. And that was the only thing I walked out of that auction with. And I came home with it, and Carrie's like, I thought you were going to buy anything. I was like, I had $20, and that was all I was going to spend. So I bought this. But this goes with my Kenner Terminator set, my figures, although the figures are separate. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this big guy yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's giant.
Yeah, I'm going to leave him in the box. This is something I probably won't open just because I don't know where I'd put him. And kind of like, you probably can't see him, but kind of like the Pee-wee up above to the left of Carrie's head up there.
It's probably easier to display in the box.
It is. The front of it needs cleaned off a little bit, but it's a nice figure. It's a nice Kenner figure. Usually I see these at toy shows going for like...
Did they make one for the first movie?
No, just this. Because they just made toys for the second. So, yeah. Kenner by that point was known for making toys based on movies. That's pretty much all they did at that point. So, that, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, RoboCop, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. They did some other odd lines here and there, but mostly a lot of their major toy lines were based on movies. So, yeah. I got this at, we went to a church sale early in 2014, and that shows you how much stuff we have that's just kind of sitting that we picked through. This was the only thing I bought out of that auction, church sale. It was $3. I brought it home. It didn't work, and then I started to mess with it, and finally got it. Oh God, it is loud. But he does work. What is it? This is the Dragon Walker from Masters of the Universe, from the vintage Masters of the Universe line.
It's all together?
Yep, it's all there. Yep. So he just... Yeah, see? What it does is it walks down, and then when it hits this, the gears turn the feet, so the feet would spin.
Where's the guy? Where's the guy at?
There was a lot of the Masters vehicles and stuff didn't come with drivers. Oh. They were all figures sold separately. So you bought a vehicle, and then you'd put a figure in there. Yep, just any of the figures. They weren't like... Huh. weren't like G.I. Joe or any of that, where the the vehicles all came with certain drivers. These were all, and you could tell I literally had to split it down the middle and take it apart to get the motor out to figure out why wouldn't it run. And I figured it out, and also realized something with this classic vintage figure, that the batteries have to go in a certain way for it to go forward. If you put the batteries in backwards, the motor actually will go backwards.
Huh.
I was like, well, that's interesting. Thought for the longest time I put it together wrong. Nope, just put the batteries in wrong.
Huh.
So if you put the batteries in backwards, it will go backwards. It's the weirdest, craziest thing. But I had this as a kid. I always loved the Masters vehicles, and I've got a number of them. I'm not sure where I'm going to put the Dragon Walker, because the Masters section up here is a little...
Well, you'll just have to rearrange again.
I will. That's my plan. I love rearranging. Carrie hates it. I love it. It's very, very therapeutic for me. It's very calming.
Whatever.
It's very zen. I get in a zen-like state where I'm like, okay, where am I going to put this? So, very cool, though. I love the Dragon Walker. And then this actually is from Arco. And this was one of the items Arco brought out for the GoBots line. Oh. And it was not... GoBots was Tonka. Arco did a lot of... They did we've shown a number of them. They did binoculars. They did the big guns. They did another smaller gun. This was the only small gun that I was missing. But, of course, in this form, he's a robot. And then if you...
Oh, I was going to say, you're talking about a gun. He's not a gun. I see.
Push him down. You push his legs together. Put his arms back like this.
Oh, pachoo.
Yep, and then raise it up, and he's got a little...
Oh.
And actually, he is a cap gun. So you put little caps in there. Let's put little caps in there, and he becomes a cap gun. So Arco did a lot of weird stuff like that, and that was one of the things that the GoBots are coming back. Bandai Japan is actually doing a new line of transforming GoBots that are based on the original GoBots of the 80s, and a lot of people are excited about it. I'm excited about it because I love GoBots. I think they're very underappreciated. I know people look at them as the poor man's Transformers and Kmart Transformers, and they were.
I've heard you call them that before.
They were, but there are some really magnificent designs. The transformations are relatively simple, but they were the first ones to do combiners. They were the first ones to do a lot of the giant size ones. Their playsets are really cool, and a lot of it doesn't make sense, but it's neat, so that's why I like it, because it's an oddball line. But this little Arco gun will be added to my my GoBots collection. So, and then last for the figure-wise, this actually was a line based on the cartoon Extreme Ghostbusters. I'm not sure who did the Extreme Ghostbusters figures. I don't think it says on here, but this was a figure that honestly should have been released in the original. His capes and everything comes apart, so it doesn't stay together well. But this actually, and I'll put him together better in the pictures, but this is Sam Hain, and he is see, it just kind of...
Oh my.
Yeah. He is a villain from the real Ghostbusters series that, thanks to Extreme Ghostbusters, actually got his own figure. So, only problem is that he's got a spring-loaded head that launches off, and the head does not... doesn't quite stay on that well, so it kind of... But it's nice. It was nice to have a Sam Hain figure that I can put with my real Ghostbusters figures. Now, the Extreme Ghostbusters line is a really underrated line of toys.
So, I'm confused. So there's Extreme Ghostbusters?
Extreme Ghostbusters was done in the late 90s, and basically it told the tale that Egon and Janine were the only ones working, and a new batch of Ghostbusters, a new batch of kids came in.
Okay.
And Egon trained them, gave them new weapons because the ghosts were...
And it was a cartoon?
Yep, it was a cartoon.
Okay, and then there's the real Ghostbusters.
There's the real Ghostbusters, which was the original cartoon in the 80s. So.
And then is there Filmation Ghostbusters?
And Filmation Ghostbusters
That's why I get confused.
Filmation Ghostbusters was the Filmation show that started in the 70s with the live action series. So.
Now you see why I always, when you get a new one, I'll be like, oh, that's the Filmation. You're like, no, it's the real Ghostbusters. And I'm like, what's the difference? So
it gets a little confusing. Okay. But, again, a very underrated line of figures, and something that I found at a Toyman show, and the guy wanted like $8 for it. And I was like, I'll pay that. I think he had 12 on it. I was like, would you take 8? And he's like, oh, I'll take 8. So it's nice to have a complete Sam Hain, and the fact that we never got him in the original Kenner line is cool.
No, so is this the only Extreme Ghostbuster you have?
This is the only one I have. Yeah, there's a couple more ghosts and the Ghostbusters.
So are you going to put him with the other?
Yeah, I'm going to put him with the real Ghostbusters figures. Oh yeah.
Oh, you're mixing them up.
That's all right. That's all right. Like our friend John Kent says, that's the whole thesis behind his Toyfinity side, is everything lives in the same universe when it comes to toys. So, and then the last two items, I'm not going to do any board games, but the last two items I saved till last because they are really, really special finds. This one comes from, what did I do with that? There it is. our friend Mark, who runs Toys of Our Youth at toysofouryouth.com. You can check him out, toysofouryouth.com. He also has a booth set up at the Route 66 Flea Market. That is right inside Granite City, Illinois. Yeah.
They also have a Facebook page.
They do.
So
it is
toysofouryouth.com.
Yep.
So
and then you can find them on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
But Mark has a lot of great stuff.
Oh my gosh, he had so much good stuff.
He had some amazing stuff. We walked in there. We actually, I mentioned it on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Not on the show, but I did finally track down my Teddy Ruxpin displayer from the 80s from Toys R Us, the airship displayer. And when we went to pick it up, we stopped at Mark's booth to kind of poke around because it's right outside of the city he lives in. And when we walked in, he had this huge, huge tub of stuffed animals and stuff. And he had a complete collection of the large Rainbow Bright sprites. He had a bunch of Muppet stuff. And digging through there, lo and behold, who do we find but the very awesome Fisher-Price animal puppet.
That you've been trying to find for a decent price forever.
Yes. And I asked him, I was like, what do you want for him? And he's like, for you guys, $20. Done. But you can see Animal has there's straps in here you put your fingers under, but I'm not going to do it. His mouth opens. Mm-hmm. His eyebrows are articulated so they open and close.
Yeah.
So very cool though for $20. The only problem is the inside of his head.
Oh my!
Yeah, you can see it's very.
No, it's very. What is that? Like
that is
wood shavings.
No, it is the inside of his head was like back covered in foam, and it's the foam that like the piggy we got that we showed on the show a long time ago. Her dress was filled with that stuff. She used to have foam inside the dress to make the dress spring out, and over time that foam just deteriorates into nothing, and that's what happens to it. So
stick our hand up
it's kind of nasty, but mine's in much better shape than Dave's is. Dave Draper has one. Dave Draper has one. You put your hand in his, and it falls out. And you're like, ugh. But I was very happy to find him though, and it's very. That's the last of the Fisher-Price puppets. We have all the puppets they made. So Piggy, Ralph, Animal, those were the only like big puppets they made, and they made little hand puppets of Kermit and Fozzie that we'll track down eventually. But that was great to find from Mark though. We found something else we'll show in an upcoming show from Mark we bought from him. It was pretty cool. And then last but not least, this was the find for us of 2015. We went to our local auction house, which is Patricia Doyle, one Friday evening, and we're looking around, and all I saw of this was the back, was this part right here, and I thought, that's a weird looking puppet. And I picked it up, and I turned him around, and I was like, that looks like Rolf, only it looks like a homemade Rolf the puppet, Rolf the dog puppet. And then I start looking, and I find out it has a tag from Ideal. So he's in a lot with a bunch of stuff, and I pulled my phone out, of course, and I start doing research right there going, I've never seen these before. What are these? Turns out this was done in 1962. 1962 or 66. I get the two dates mixed up. This was, along with a Kermit they did, these were the first licensed puppets they did based on the Muppet characters. And these were back in the days when they were doing commercials for Wilkins Coffee, when Ralph was on the Jimmy Dean variety show all the time. That's how far back these go. These things are rare, are super rare. In this condition, and mine's got a little hole at the top of his mouth here, but in this condition, loose like this, they sell for upwards of $600 to $800. In a box, you're talking $2 to $4 grand. And the Kermits are even rarer. But the lot he was in...
Wasn't this special because he had a tail, right?
And it's the only Rolf that's ever been designed that actually has a tail. Ideal actually designed him with a tail. So he has a tail. He's got his little paws here. And as you can see, I'm going to try and I'm going to show you how he works here, but I'm be very, very careful. Ooh. But he, so his mouth, just like a regular puppet opens and closes, but just like that.
How we got him will explain why you need to make friends with people sometimes.
Yes. So we decided we weren't going to sit around and wait because this was at the very end of the auction. The auction usually gets over at like 10 p.m.
Yeah, and it was like 7.
It was like 7. We were like, okay. I was like, well, let's put in an absentee bid, and we'll go home. And then on the way home, Carrie was like, why don't you just go back later?
Because the auction house is only like 7 minutes from our house. So
I said, okay, you're right. I'll go back.
Yeah, I said, why don't you go back and just see what happens, because I'd hate for the somebody to win $5 over our absentee bid.
Yeah. So I went back, had them pull the absentee bid, and then I got my card back and sat down and waited and waited and waited. And finally it comes up, and of course before I left, Carrie's like, well, what are you going to spend on? I'm like, no more than $30. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's probably the limit. She goes, that sounds fair. She's like, just go ahead and get it.
He was in a tub with a bunch of Lionel trains.
Well, it wasn't Lionel trains. They were Lionel science kits from the 60s.
Something.
And those are super rare too. But this is all I wanted out of there. So I go back, I sit back at the auction, I'm waiting, and it comes up for a bid, and there's this one guy that had been buying, there was a bunch of the science sets, and they were in different lots. And as soon as that came up and I saw what else was in there, and I was like, oh, crap. All right, no big deal. So I bid, the guy bids, I bid, the guy bids, I bid, the guy bids. It gets up to $50, and I'm like, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, Carrie's going to kill me. But I'm not going home without this Muppet. I'm like, I'm not, because I'll never see it again, and I will kick myself that I didn't just take the risk and get it. So I win the auction for $50. I get the tub, and then the guy that's bidding is kind of sitting in the aisle, and I walked up to him and I was like, hey, what were you going for in this lot? And he goes, oh, I just wanted the Lionel things. I'm like, do you want to split the lot with me? And he's like, what'd you pay? And I'm like, 50. I'm like, I'll give you those two for 25. And he whipped out $25 and handed it to me.
It pays to pay attention to what other people in the auction are doing. Now, had we been sitting there all night and saw that he was bidding on that stuff ahead of time, we may have gone up to him before they got to this and said, hey, let us win this for $5. And then you can
I'll give you the science kit.
Instead of bidding against each other. But it all worked out.
It all worked out. So we paid $25 for the lot. I gave him the stuff out of there. I threw away a couple things. I kept a few other things out of there that we were like, oh, cool. And then he, of course, we didn't know what he was worth until I got home that night and sat down in bed with Carrie and we were looking. And we couldn't find anything sold on eBay.
Oh, gosh. Nothing. I think we were online forever trying to
at least an hour and a half. And I finally stumbled across a message board that somebody was listing prices for what they'd seen them for past auctions, and Carrie and I about lost our crap. Of course,
I figured it was pretty valuable because, again, we'd never seen him before, and the fact that he was so old and everything. So
now, of course, usually when we find something like this, Carrie's like, money. But this,
I know, I'm like, sell that bad boy.
But I'm not going to part with him because he's too cool. He's an amazing Muppet collectible.
Well, we discussed buying some kind of shadow box to put him in.
Like a doll. Like, we need to go to one of the hobby shops and find a doll case to put him in.
Really protect him.
Yeah, because I want him to be safe. I don't want him to be out in the elements and stuff. I know that sounds silly, but I'll never see something like this again. And he's just in beautiful shape. His fur looks a little ragged but it's not really.
No, he's soft.
He's really
clean.
soft. He's clean.
Yeah.
Other than that one hole in the top of his mouth, he's in pretty perfect condition. Yeah. The eyes are still, they're slightly yellowed, but they're still white. So never going to find something like that again. And that's been the haul of the year is that piece right there.
Yeah, probably our best find.
Yeah. So we had another one that we actually did sell that we won't ever show on camera, but we did find another something else at the auction that we figured somebody's going to want this in their collection other than us. So, but we found two amazing hauls this year, so this was one of them. So, there you go, guys. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/ToyWorldOrder and hit the subscribe. Like all of our videos. You can follow Carrie and I on Twitter. I almost said Instagram, and I had to stop because Carrie's not on Instagram. But you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow Carrie at Mrs. Duvall, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Puppet Duvall. So make sure you check those out, and we'll be back real soon with an all-new look at some awesome collectibles that we are adding to our collection. So until then, gang, make sure you dig because you never quite know what you're going to find. For example, $600 to $800. Take care.